Hello and welcome to Newsroom series on Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Our focus today is from the Northeast region, but first, let's serve you with the top stories for the day. Now, the People's Democratic Party is holding its congresses across its state chapters. Now, some of the states where the exercise has already commenced, like Rivers, Delta, Bauchi, Kogi, amongst other PDP states, where delegates are expected to vote for their new leaders in the state chapters. Some of the positions being contested include the chairman, deputy chairman, vice chairmanship positions, state secretary, a state treasurer, state legal advisor, financial secretary, women leader, youth leader, amongst others. Staying with the PDP Congress, they head to the Bauchi state where the delegates are voting to elect state executives for 39 positions. Now, despite the heavy rain today, more than 2,500 delegates are turned out to elect new leadership. Now, the PDP State Congress is taking place at the Rilwanu Suleiman Adamu Square, a government house in Bauchi, and is drawing prominent party members and indeed delegates from all 20 local government areas in the state. The Taraba state government says it has concluded plans to uplift over 2 million residents out of the poverty line by the year 2031. This, the government says, will be actualized using the Taraba State COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Platform, in addition to its agricultural reforms, skills acquisition programs, among several others.
Disbursement of the third round of the federal government's special grant transfer is taking place under the Taraba State COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program. It aims to empower 18,000 people with micro and nano businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and prevent future occurrences. Over 10,000 beneficiaries are set to receive 50,000 naira each from a fund of 522.45 million naira to revamp their businesses. The state government projects that this effort will uplift over 2 million residents out of poverty by 2031.
Unlike before, this money will have been diverted for other purposes. But His Excellency, the Governor of Taraba State, who has the poor people at heart, who is willing to take out poverty out of Taraba State, from now to 2031, there will be no any poor person in Taraba State.
The state government is also establishing skills acquisition centers across all 16 local government areas, targeting both existing and newly emerging vulnerable and poor households. Specialists are engaged to support these efforts in mitigating the effects of hardship.
The objective of this particular livelihood grant component of Result Area 1.3 is to provide short livelihood, soft skill training, and one-off payment to economically active and self-employed youth and women in the state.
Today we are here to do a training for these people, and we're going to be training them on some key areas with regards to bookkeeping and how to manage the money that is coming to them. We're also teaching them about the COVID recovery, just in case COVID, rears its ugly head sometime in the future, how to better prepare for that, how to better manage their businesses in case something like that happens in the future. We're also teaching them about hygiene, how to look after themselves, the environment people. We're teaching them how to wear the PPP, that's the protective personal protective equipment, so no use of nose masks and things like that. We're also teaching them about gender issues.
Governor Agbu Kefas, represented by his deputy, emphasizes the state commitment to restoring livelihoods and ensuring a sustainable future for all residents. He notes that previous interventions in the first and second phases of the program have shown positive improvement in residents' lives.
This government has keyed into the Taraba Carers program with passion, and it's evident in the first and second rounds of disbursement carried out in June 2023 and January 2024, respectively. By supporting 2,680 youths and women, we economically empowered them so that they can improve their means of livelihood.
Some beneficiaries share their optimism about the grant's impact on their businesses.
We've received this money, and then we've been given this money in order to use it for our business and also to help ourselves and our families. That is why we've been given this money. And as for me, I've received this money with all joy, and I'm praying that this government will help us in one way or the other in order for us to continue to build ourselves and our families at large.
Similar training sessions were recently held in Bali and Wukari local government areas to ensure comprehensive support in the fight against poverty and the drive to improve livelihoods.
Staying in Taraba State, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agencies and the Taraba State government are seeking the active participation of families in taming the alarming rate of drug abuse and mental health issues in the state. The collaboration is seeking to provide a safe space for victims and advocating for parents and guardians to leverage the free education policies of the Taraba State government to address the challenges. The collaboration is also expected to ensure that out-of-school children have access to education and cut down their exposure to substance abuse.
A catering service company.
Officials of the Taraba State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and the Taraba State Government are partnering with civil society organizations in this advocacy on substance abuse and mental health. The idea is to identify victims of drug and substance abuse for rehabilitation and recovery.
We are committed to providing comprehensive support through counseling, rehabilitation, mentorship, and skills training. By fostering positive mental health, raising awareness about the dangers of drug abuse, and empowering individuals through economic opportunities, we aim to eradicate poverty and reintegrate them into society, as well as self-reliant and productive members of the community.
The NDLEA is evolving different strategies to tackle the menace, especially at the grassroots.
Everything about WADA is war against drug abuse, fighting the war from the grassroots. And in this, NDLEA alone cannot fight this war alone. So we have to liaise with other agencies, other NGO institutions to help in the war against drug abuse. As an individual, you are a stakeholder. NGO is a stakeholder that we are all liaising to help in this war against drug abuse in order to help and keep our country a drug-free nation.
To complement the efforts of the NDLEA, the Taraba State government believes the free education policy will play a pivotal role in addressing the challenge of out-of-school children and subsequently reduce the exposure of children to substance abuse.
We should try to include drug abuse or drugs generally as topics that should be taught, in schools from primary school upward, because that is part of the thing that, because once students or once children are able to understand the implications of drug abuse, many of them will stay away from it.
The advocacy here is that the collaboration should be increased to address the supply chain and enforce the necessary laws to curb substance abuse in the state.
Communities in Madagali local government area of Adamawa State, recovering from the devastation of insurgency, have called for federal government assistance to avert a humanitarian crisis in the area. This follows the displacement of hundreds of families from their homes as a result of flooding that destroyed houses and submerged farmlands. Channels Television reports that despite the timely intervention of the Adamawa State government by way of relief materials, the victims are still counting their losses.
Life for communities in Madagali and Michika local government areas, some of the hotbeds of insurgency, have returned to normal life until the recent flood that devastated the area, displacing over 14,000 people from their homes into temporary shelters. This development has brought untold hardship to whole communities who have not only lost their homes, but some of their means of livelihood. Some of the victims narrate their ordeal.
I lost, my house is demolished. My goats, some were off. Some are with me. My foodstuff, gone.
We are happy with the prompt intervention of His Excellency. Virtually within 24 hours, we received some relief materials, food items and non-food items. The deputy governor was here, the governor himself was here, and now we have received our beloved member. He came with some relief too, and we have some individuals that came with relief too.
The relief materials presented by the Adamawa state government is complemented by the federal lawmaker representing Madagali and Michika to help reduce the hardship of the victims. He appeals for more intervention by the federal government in view of the scale of destruction.
We are going to push forward for the federal government to come to our aid, because you can see the bridge is so damaged and the flood, over 1,000 houses are down. Over 2,000 households are displaced, and the number of people in this IDP camp over 13,000. So we have a serious issue of humanitarian crisis in this place. Their health, their security, their feeding, and a lot of economic damage to our people here. And thus we are calling the federal government to come to our aid.
Even as the water recedes, the communities are faced with the problem of food shortage and accessibility, as the major bridges linking the areas to parts of Adamawa and Borno states have been cut off.
Now, 3 days after the Potiskum-Gashua Road in Yobe State cut off, heavy rainfall that lasted more than 12 hours yesterday has cut off another bridge at Jumbam in Busari local government area along Damaturu-Dapchi Federal Road in Yobe State. The bridge was the alternative road that linked 6 local government areas of northern Yobe and some in eastern Yobe to Damaturu, the state capital. Bala Mohammed, a driver at Babangida, the headquarters of Tarmowa local government area, told Channels Television that the incident happened in the early hours of today. The sad incident has now forced 9 local government areas of Machina, Nguru, Karasua, Bade, Jakusko, and Yusufari in the northern Yobe, as well as Gaidam, Yunusari and Busari local government areas in the eastern Yobe, can only use canoes to access the state capital or travel through Hadijia in Jigawa State, a distance of over 500 kilometers. Already the cut-off roads the cut-off 2 federal roads in the state capital has indeed crippled economic and farming activities along the northern and the eastern parts of the state. Welcome back on Newsroom Series. We'll have more from Yobe State this time. The contractors handling the federal government's project, that's the Renewed Hope houses, say they will definitely meet the completion deadline. Join us again. Welcome back. The contractors handling the federal government's 250 Renewed Hope 1, 2 and 3 bedroom semi-detached housing units in Yobe State have failed to meet up with the 3-month completion deadline. Some residents who expressed dissatisfaction over the slow pace of the project following the groundbreaking ceremony on May the 24th this year is asking government to award the construction to more contractors instead of 4 as speculated. A visit to the construction site by Channels Television indicates that more than 60% of the houses are still at the damp roof course, DPC.
On May 24, 2024, the Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development, Abdullahi Gwarzo, alongside Yobe State Governor Mengalabuni, laid the foundation for 250 homes in the state capital under the Renewed Hope project. Both the federal government and the contractors handling the project pledged to complete the 250 houses within the stipulated time of 3 months.
I want to charge the developers to ensure that they build according to specifications. I expect you to deliver a quality job because we will not tolerate substandard. We also want you to have this work finished within the next 3 months so that we can begin the process of getting your indigents to purchase and move in.
We are committed to ensuring that the renewed Hope Estate meets the highest standard of quality and design. Our team is dedicated to completing this project within the stipulated frame time in 3 months, adhering to the specification provided.
3 months after, the project is set to be completed, nor has it reached or show sign of completion in the near future, as most of the houses are still at the damp-proof cost level.
The renewed hope projects are very, very okay. It's a good idea from the federal government. I have a great concern because since the government launched the program, especially in Damaturu here, the progression I have been monitoring keenly has not been good enough. It's really a concern because governments sometimes they make utterances and maybe they don't follow up. Sometimes we may not be able to really identify where the problem is, but our concern is these houses are supposed to be completed in good time to be able to achieve the desired goal they are meant for.
The civil society activist who expresses dissatisfaction over the slow pace of the project believes involving more contractors into the construction can create jobs as well as speed up the work.
To me, as a resident of Yobe State, as a citizen of Yobe State, a citizen of Nigeria, I see that if a room would be given for more companies to be in part of constructions of this very housing, it will help in assisting the resident, and also it will help in completion of the project in the set time. And by this, it will help also people will have an access of employment. It will reduce the rate of unemployment we are having in the state or in the nation at all, because competition is always commonplace. The constructions will be in the better position, so as every company will be competing in terms of providing the best of their ability in order to see that they have delivery effectively deliver what they need to be delivered, so as next project will be considered to that company. But for now, it's only 4 companies we have been awarded for the constructions of these 250 households, whereby in the length of 4 or 3 months, I think it's not helping matters and cannot help to reduce the problem of household we are having, or the problem of lack of housing in the state or in the nation at general.
Residents look ahead to when this project will be completed to cushion the challenges of accommodation, especially now that the cost of transportation to offices is very high.
The Bauchi State Governor has approved a 10-year development plan extending to the year 2033 aimed at enhancing policy implementation, ensuring predictable growth and maintaining continuity in government. The Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Mr. Aminu Hamayu, reveals that the plan is based on sustainable development goals and addresses 12 sectors. It provides a roadmap for a prosperous economic trajectory, including the provision of social services and the development of necessary infrastructure. He notes that the plan was developed in response to changes in both domestic and global environments.
Prior to his assumption of office, His Excellency the Governor had, driven by his desire to develop the state leveraging on its potentials, assembled a team to undertake a situational analysis of the state. Now, the results of such analysis had indicated a number of challenges which had hindered development. It has also identified a number of opportunities that the state could leverage on, to leapfrog it, to economic growth. The governor's strategic vision, My Bauchi project, was developed to address the challenges, and that had also informed the development of the Bauchi State Medium-Term Plan 2021 to 2025. However, between 2019 and 2023, so much had been achieved in the implementation. Now, generally, developments within the domestic and global environment had necessitated the need for a revision of the vision document. And conscious of the need for such review and a redefinition of our development pathway, the state government, working with the support of UNDP and the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, felt there was the need, to build up on the 2025 plan by expanding its scope beyond the current regime and the end date of the SDGs. That was what led to the development of the State Development Plan 2033.
As part of his plans to build a modern, sustainable and smart city, Governor Inuwa Yahaya has issued out Executive Order 007 to reclaim the BAP4 government layout situated in the heart of Gombe State, renaming it Shehu Abubakar District after the late Emir of Gombe. Governor Inuwa Yahaya laments that over the course of 40 years, the BAP4 government design layout has had its original design largely distorted, undeveloped and out of tune with the state's master plan. The sum of 24.22 billion naira will be used to construct 18.55 kilometers of road networks within the redesigned layout, while 3.98 billion naira will go to fixing 7.5 kilometer gullies resulting from prolonged hoarding of landed property by speculators.
I am pleased to announce the naming of this layout to Shehu Abubakar District.
This is BAP4 government layout delineated by the then Bauchi state government over 40 years ago. After 27 years of Gombe statehood, the layout nestled in the heart of Gombe has remained underdeveloped as gullies ravaged its landscapes and distorted its original design, a far cry from the city's master design. Using extant laws and issuing Executive Order number 007, Governor Inuwa Yahaya hopes to extinguish corruption in land allocation and return the state to the planned development and prosperity under the Gombe Capital Special Development Zone project.
Let me be clear. This government will not tolerate excesses and abuses in land use. The days of reckless development, illegal land grabs, and corrupt practices in land administration are over. We are committed to eliminating corruption and ensuring that our land use policies serve the public interest.
The Commissioner for Works, Housing and Transport, Musa Kalamu, describes the move as unprecedented in the history of Gombe State.
But His Excellency, the architect of modern Gombe, Sarkin Ayyukan Gombe, Hamajan Gombe, when he looked at this area, he decided to develop it. As a result, he awarded the construction of roads and drainages within the area.
A leading award-winning light in land administration, the Gombe Geographic Information System sits at the helm of redesigning and remodeling of the state.
This layout has been there for over 4 decades without any development on it. Due to that, the government decided to, revive and restore the layout to life. Most of the components that were there in the layout at the initial stage were distorted. So we tried to reintroduce what was introduced at the initial stage.
With 24.22 billion naira budgeted for gully erosion control and road network, Gombe State continues to chart its course as a cynosure for economic growth and development in Nigeria, and the present administration seems poised to build a modern city, eradicate unplanned development, and nip backhand deals in land administration in the bud.
And that we draw the curtain on the program Newsroom series with our focus on the Northeast today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun.